Hey members, I know I've been concerned about this for a long period of time, and I know I've shared my concerns about it for quite a number of years. And I stopped talking about it because I feel like I'm a doomsday sayer. But again, it's something that I intrinsically cannot deny. And it's something that I want to share because it's an ongoing concern that I can no longer just kind of ignore. Okay, and I've said it a number of times. Even last year, at the end of the last year, I said that AI workflow automation is going to replace office jobs. But now with the fuel increases, ever increasing interest rates, all that kind of stuff, I really am becoming quite concerned. So let me just kind of put it into a better to understand graph that isn't just emotionally driven. All right, so if we are plotting a graph, and this graph is called HVB. We pretend that HVB is an investment business that we're looking to invest in. HVB right now would be on the decline. Hopefully I can draw within this environment. Maybe I'll just do it in reverse. Okay, it'll look like that. So if I came to you guys and I said, can you put $100,000 into this business HVB, and this is the projected outcome for the business over the next, call it 3 to 10 years. All right, so we'll put the time over here as 10 years. Would you put money into a business as an investor? If I came to you with this graph and this was the amount put in and this was the time, as a spot entry, so not shorting it, would you put money into this business? The obvious answer is no. Okay, so what are we talking about here? This over here, and I'm literally experiencing it in real time because I'm doing this day after day, right? This right here is the human value in business. Just if you were an alien and you came to planet Earth to invest and you looked at human value in business versus AI we'll put your AIA, artificial intelligence agents. The human value and business model is on a downward trend. It's going to tank. So I'm urging everyone who is not an entrepreneur, who might in themselves, okay, so let's talk about entrepreneurship. As a business owner, there are certain obligations that are required. Okay, you want to maximize your yield and minimize your outgoings. All right, so that's the whole idea. Is make profit and keep alive. The threat that a lot of people have is payroll, losing a big customer, operational costs increasing because of inflation, rising of fuel. I can go on in all different directions, but basically the what you want to do in business, and I don't want to spend too much time here because you guys already know this stuff, is lower your outgoings and increase your profit or your yield or your intake, your net profit, not turnover, because turnover can be misleading. You can still be in loss if even if you got a good turnover. All right. Guess what? When you're put your costs, put your profits. So when you're in the real world, okay, and you've got the pressure of customers not necessarily having themselves the cash flow to support your product any longer, or your premium high ticket offerings any longer, they rather take on the pain themselves, or the amount of options in the marketplace, because everyone can start their online business now just by creating their own website using AI and undercutting you because they've got an uncle who can get it better from a cheaper location, whatever the case would be. So I'm not talking about the competitiveness of the market and how easy it is for people to come out and open up their own little operations. Like I'm saying, like just on a side note real quick, teenagers, okay, for the first time in history, are earning more than college students because of the gig economy and then providing services whilst at school, going online, becoming a registered this, that, and the next thing, and operating as a service provider online. And they're out there, teenagers in school, high schoolers, are earning more than college students in 2026. All right, so that's where we're living right now. So in terms of the marketplace of being of 20-year-olds making the kind of the older generation a bit more skittish because they're younger and they got the higher energy and focus and determination to kind of do what it takes to put in the long hours, whereas the old crocs have been there, done that. They don't necessarily want to burn the midnight oil or start work from the Sunday night to prepare. You know what I mean? Like with age, you become more wise, and you don't really have the same level of like desire to do whatever it takes and overcome all odds as someone in the 20s would. Now, that's not even the case. Now, teenagers who are fired up with tons of energy, who are forced into learning environments every single day because they're at school in any case, are now taking all of that energy and debunking not only the college kids who used to kind of be the threat in the workplace that came out to old crocs, but the whole the triangle is inverting. All right, and it's all because it's now being available to the young guns because of the level of technology available to them now before that it ever has in history. Okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the market saturation. I'm talking about rising costs, what that's doing to the P&L, and the pressure that puts on the entrepreneur and C-suite and executive suite decision making. Now, by design, their obligation to the shareholders or to whoever's invested into the business is to make sure A, the business survives, B, they can cover their costs, but ultimately C, provide a dividend or a yield or a return on investment to the shareholders, investors, owners, whoever's been involved at beginning that business at all. Now, when you're faced with the market economics of rising costs, which is obviously going to eat into your net profits, the natural forced decision is to generate a solution to lower the costs, keep or better the turnaround times and the yield output from the operators and all that sort of thing, so that ultimately the shareholder can keep the business alive by not withdrawing their funds out of the investment pool or the owner still wants to keep the business going, or the owner can still keep the business going because despite the operational pressures of the dynamic, difficult environment that everyone's kind of feeling worldwide, they get to survive another month, another year, and so on because costs go down and yield goes up. Guys, I'm dealing with this day in, day out in my own business, okay? I'm one of the people in my family creating generational wealth. My father, my uncle, my grandfather, etc., they are employees to other companies, and they always have been. They've always had jobs. And that's not generational wealth creators. My great-grandfather, these guys are not creating generational wealth for their kids and beyond. So I've gone out of the comfort mold and taken my education, and yes, I was lucky to do so at an Ivy League school, and I've got my MBA and all that kind of stuff. I'm taking that into the realm of uncertainty, which is entrepreneurship, and building something for myself, which is generational wealth for my kids and their grandkids. And along that journey, I'm doing so for the well-being of my investors, of course, and my community, of course, and hopefully that can put their downstream effects of positivity into their circles of influence and beyond. So I'm not someone who's sitting inside a job going, okay, well, this is a nice hypothesis. This is a good idea. I saw something on social media that kind of resonates. No, I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from experience that basic business economics of what it takes to survive these days, which is lower costs and increase net profit, is by default going to disrupt, because it has to, the way that things have been done in the past. In the past, humans had value in this business place. But as our work day in and day out with AI, problem solving, planning, executing, there is a level of accuracy, promptness, customization. Today is Sunday. I've worked all of Saturday. I'm working today until late at night as well. It works with my hours. It doesn't have excuses, yada, 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 all the obvious stuff. It costs $200 a month in comparison to staff that I would have to pay from around the world, because local staff are really expensive. So I'll probably have to hire from India. Then I've got, they've got to first come in to understand the problem, and then they've got to adapt the problem, and then they've got to put me into their schedule alongside other customers that they need to keep the business running. And then maybe after about 6 weeks, I could probably get some form of progress to critique and then to re-guide them, and then that's going to take another 6 weeks to get to objective. All of that shit for me no longer needs to be my reality, and I've been in that reality. So I'm speaking from experience here, guys. When I was building what I've now parted ways with, so whilst building this with a European engineer, I can tell you firsthand the level of challenges that I had to endure from dealing with another human was in itself quite dissatisfying. And it's not because of the individual. He's a great guy and we were great friends. But because he would have to take his forced leave from the government of 2 weeks, and he would fly down to France, and whilst I needed critical updates to be pushed, I couldn't put that on him, because humanely, the right thing to do is allow him to have his downtime with his family, who I love very much, and all the rest of it. But ultimately, when it came down to the human value in business, it didn't really suit me, because I needed the problem to be resolved. I needed to keep the momentum, I needed to go forward with that headway, but yet I had to deal with the circumstances of dealing with a human. Okay? Needless to say that I no longer have to deal with those setbacks. It operates multiple agents synchronously that bring together their best work as one, and within that environment produces the highest yield output possible in near real time at realistically the lowest possible cost. Okay? That not only applies to my charting and my AI work, but it applies to across the board. I had this website built with AI. The animations, the customizations, the interactivity. Look at how the letters move in line with the cursor. Do you know how much that would have cost me? Going on to Fiverr.com. So this is how it used to be done. Or maybe it still is, but I can't imagine these guys having a good time anymore. It needs a human touch. Yeah, please. That's hilarious. Look how slow this shit is. AI is so much faster. Anyway, so I used to go down here and let's just say I need a logo to be built. Okay, go here. Then I have all these different options, something, and then they're graded, and then there's the different prices. So this one's more expensive than that one, and I don't know why it's more expensive than the other one, blah, 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 blah. And I used to sit here and, okay, cool, let's go with the expensive one. All right, so Hannah wants to be the more expensive, then I have to kind of go like, why is Hannah the most expensive? Here we are. All right, 5-day delivery. For two, so that's about $150. So 5-day delivery, $150 with one revision. And I'm sure she's got some options to upsell. Okay? When it comes to okay, it's gone. Where's Claude Design? I think they've maybe cooked it in. All right. Okay, I've got to sign in again. Anyway, in terms of getting this work here, all right, again, $150, 5-day delivery, one revision. I can get that done within the hour and probably as many revisions as I need to get done and have my business logo sorted. Not if I needed to get that sorted, then cool, that's just the logo. What if I needed to get the website done? All right, let's just see what these guys are charging these days. Blah, 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 sign up user. Okay, then I've got to go through all this headache of everyone else's thing and I get bombarded by their marketing. I can't even browse stuff without signing in. I can see that just a very simple WordPress website, which we managed by these guys, is $100. Guys, you're starting to see the thing. So I got all of this done myself. All of this, this animation. Okay, so this is brings in animated in real time. I've got this graphic of myself going around. Okay, so everything's built here. I've got detail in the back end. Whilst this is all interactive elements. This is going on. Do you know this would have cost $10,000 and probably about 6 months worth of revising and going back and building relationships. And each one of those gig people would have had to see the work from someone else and customize it back to that kind of work. Not only that, I've even got an academy built in that's interactive. All right, done all myself. So what I'm trying to say is, and this would literally cost thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to do. So what I'm saying, guys, please hear me now. I've been saying it for a long time, but I'm feeling it every single day. The human value in the business place, and those are just examples to do with websites and logos and stuff, but it goes to accounting. This goes to lawyers. I've created literally because of I was fed divorce lawyer papers this year from my wife. I went and created an entire family law consultancy to take people through every single stage of what is required, understanding what's been served, who you are, what's your story, care and contacts for the children, S7 factors, where the financial situation is, the proposal and counter proposal to the documents, the draft, and then everything bundled coherently so that the package can be put together. I've built this entire website myself so that people like me who are absolutely pistol whipped and like into the realm of deep uncertainty because your entire life has been designed towards having a family unit, being the provider, being the father, being the guide, being the leader in the family, and then all of a sudden divorce papers hit. That whole thing is now spiraling you into this very dark place. All of that's now gone. The high courts are on the mother's side, and then now everything you've worked towards over the years, your assets, your everything is about to be stripped up and chopped up and taken away from you. And you've still got to be the financier. You got to finance the time your kids are away from you. You got to be, and then see them in the holidays. So I was like, fuck that for a joke. And I've gone from zero to building an entire operation on the inside so that I could get step-by-step guidance of what was required throughout this entire process. Okay, so friends were recommending me to go to their friends who are lawyers and can help me through the situation. And I said to myself, what are you talking about? Do you want $2,000 as deposit? And they said this can get up to about $5,000 typically. I said, excuse me, motherfuckers, suck a bag of dicks. And I went and I built this thing category for category to understand exactly what is required of the process of the family law firm and what it will take every step of the way. And instead I got this done all built myself, all right, for just time, effort, focus, and it took me about 5 days of very passionate drive to make sure I can get this thing up and running so that I can get a full document and response to the lawyers and to register as a self-defending entity and putting that out to the high court and say, you know what, guys, I'm representing myself because I've got the power of AI. All right. So that's an example, again, of human value in business on the decline. I didn't need family lawyers. I didn't need their invoices. I didn't need the long-winded bullshit. And every single time I got emails from my wife's lawyers, I would put it through AI. I would just put it into plain English so I could understand what it is that they're actually saying, which is 90% of the problem when it comes to stupid lawyers. Then I would convert that into exactly what it is that my response would be in any case, even if I was paying other lawyers. And then they put it into the structure and I submitted it. Fast forwarding to the end, I won in terms of asking for fairness and equal custody to the kids and equal time to the kids and so on and so forth. All without lawyers. Not a single lawyer. All right? And I won my case. So this is what I'm saying, guys. Please hear me now. When I'm dealing with this every single day, the outcome that I'm getting is superhuman. The results I'm getting is superhuman. The rate in which I'm getting it is superhuman. And it's all happening now. It's no longer a thing in the distance. So if you were an investor and you had to put money in to a business, knowing that your 100K was going to shrink over time, would you do it? The answer is obviously no. So this is what's happening in the marketplace, invisibly or visibly. So that's what I'm saying is please consider ways to generate income without the need of customers or something to that effect, because customers are going to become something that in themselves are going to answer to a boss, and ultimately the boss has got to go through that same song and dance where they need to have costs reduced because of the ever rising cost is getting ridiculous now, but net profit still either, if not being kind of ultimately profitable, at least somewhat profitable or stable, or just being able to survive. So this is just another reminder that I'm really concerned for others who are kind of falling asleep at the wheel and hoping for the best, because it's coming. If it's not already happening, it's coming. So that's my rant. I need to get it out there. I'm going to continue fighting the good fights over here. It's making good progress. Yay for me. But I'm not saying that I'm the only solution out there. Just guys, please take it very seriously into consideration of what is in the near future and what is coming. Is that the human value in the business place is inevitably, by design, it's undeniably, by design, decreasing. And I don't know at what rate, but it's definitely decreasing at an uncomfortable rate. So be prepared. Make sure you got alternative options. Make sure that you got a plan B, or you got some form of passive income to be able to sustain your living expenses, so that when the bosses are forced to make those uncomfortable business decisions, that you aren't on the wrong end of it, and that you've got a backup plan. All right. Thanks for, if you made it all the way to this. I've got a whole nother theory about the zombie apocalypse in terms of social media and TikTok level videos and the short form videos also just diminishing the attention span of humans as well. So we are becoming increasingly less able to focus, which is dropping our concentration levels, which is therefore reducing our ability to perform in any case, because of our attention spans dropping, because of the zombies on the other side of the screens that we are focusing on all day, or just to kind of get our social media hit on, which makes our value in the business place increasingly less. So these are serious concerns of mine, guys. There is no agenda here. I just need to share the way I truly feel, and I'm sending love and hope and help and everything I can, positive energy, to whoever's able to and ready to receive this message, because it needs to be said. There is the inevitable arriving. And I've been saying this for years, but it's becoming quite obvious now that that is undeniable. So make sure you got your backup plan. Make sure you got something to be there, so that when the rug pull eventually happens, that you're good. Okay.